Hi, it's Sarah here, back with another quick card for you. And for my quick card today, I'm using my pick of the week, which is the Circle Sayings Photopolymer Stamp Set. Now, you can get this separately, or you can get it as a bundle with the punch. And this is the punch, the 2 3/8 inch punch. And I very much recommend getting the two together because this punch is really handy. I used it last week with the stamp set to create these two cards in my online workshop. Today I'm just going to use the stamp set on its own, because whether you get it as part of a bundle or whether you get the stamp set on its own, this is a fabulous stamp set. It has got some great sentiments in here, including birthday, hello, thank you, thinking of you, celebrate, and things that can be mixed together as well. Plus, it's got images for stamping and colouring in, and just for stamping, and it's even got a little accent stamp as well. So this is absolutely brilliant, particularly for new stampers. I would say this is a great stamp set to get for a new stamper, and then I would get it with the bundle with the punch, because that's just going to add to your toolkit. But like I say, today I'm actually just using the Circle Sayings on its own without a circle. I'm actually going to be using rectangles, our normal sort of cut panels. So I've got a card base here, A6 portrait card base of Crumb Cake. And sorry if you can hear my dog snoring under the table. And then we've got a card front layer, which is 3 7/8 by 5.5. And this is the new Boho Blue. And I just really like these colours together, and I think these actually would be great for baby cards. So I do like these colours. Then I've cut a panel. So moving on, this is 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And we've got a mat of Crumb Cake, which is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So that's what we've got. We're going to just put those aside for the moment, because I'm just going to be using the sentiments from this. So I'm going to use the Sending You A, and I'm going to use the Warm Hello, and I'm bringing in a little fussy cut image. I fussy cut this from our Zoo Crew paper. Let me just grab that. And I have just cut this. I've rough cut out the corner, and then I've fussy cut out this lovely little yoga pose. I thought it was so cute. But obviously you don't have to do fussy cutting. You could stamp something from a totally different stamp set in between our sentiments here. But I wanted to show basically how I'm doing this. I'm going to use early espresso. Now, a few tips for you. So this stamp, let me bring the stamp set back in. You can see it's one of these sort of negative stamps. So we've got a coloured patch, and the actual text is cut out of it, as it were. I definitely recommend that you use a juicy ink pad or a fairly juicy ink pad for using these sorts of stamps. It doesn't want to be so juicy that it pulls, and if you've never used the stamp before, I would recommend giving it a rub over with an eraser, either a normal eraser or an adhesive eraser like this, to just prime that, because the solid areas the ink can pull. But on the other hand, if you use an old ink pad that is starting to dry up a bit, you're not going to get enough ink on there to get a good stamp from it. So, right, so that was my other tip for you as well. particularly with any of these circular stamps out of here, if I took that one as well, I definitely recommend popping it face down like that and then picking up with your stamp. That way you don't skew the stamp. If you pick it up and put it on like this, then you could end up putting it out of alignment, so you won't get as nice an arch from it. So just lay it down and pick it up with the block. Okay, so that's a couple of tips really for you. Let me get my piece of card and bring that back in. It's photopolymer. Love the photopolymer. I can see exactly where I'm stamping. So, but with photopolymer, I recommend you have a mat. This is the deluxe foam mat that we had with the Stamparatus. I need to double check whether you can, the Stamparatus isn't around anymore. I need to check whether you can still get this. But we have other foam mats in the catalogue as well. So I've re-inked my early espresso ink pad to make sure I get a good inking on this, and I am going to stamp this at the top of my panel, and I've managed to do that a little bit more. It's not quite as straight as it should have been, but I'm going to go with it. And then I'm going to stamp the warm hello below. So we're going to stamp this down here at the base. And the lovely thing about these texts is you can either put it on with the top word straight, or you can put it at a bit of an angle. It's very forgiving if you don't get it exactly straight. So there we have that. So just simple stamping. And now we're going to start to put this together. Let me move this out of the way so I don't get ink on things that shouldn't have ink on. And we'll grab our adhesive. And this is about to run out, I think. So we're going to just adhere the Boho Blue card front layer direct to our Crumb Cake card base. Say that 3 times quickly. Like that. And then I'm going to pop this. I'm just going to blot it, make sure, because it was a nice juicy re-inking, so I don't want to smudge that ink, and move on. And like I say, with this you could have just stamped an image in between those 2 sentiments. So like I say, this stamp set's going to work great with all sorts of stamps that you've already got, or if, like I say, if you're a new crafter, it's a great beginner one. It will serve you very well on its own, but it's going to mix and match with others so well. So I'm going to pop some dimensionals on the back here, and I like to put them in the corners, and then that's quite a wide part, so I'm going to pop some in between and then in the centres. That's lovely. So I didn't show you the fussy cutting out, but it really only took me a few minutes, and with the amount of time that I've spent showing you the bundle, that would probably make up the time. Now I've actually gone for a very plain card for a change, but you could always, if you're a more advanced crafter, you could stamp this background, you could put it through an embossing folder, lots of things that you could do with this. But for a beginner crafter, there's nothing wrong, even for an advanced crafter, there is nothing wrong with using a plain background paper or card, as it is in this case. Nothing wrong with it at all. So there we are, we've got that. And then I am just going to pop up my little yoga animal in the centre there. And that is my quick card for you for today. So I hope that gives you an idea of taking these stamps and not using them in a circular way at all. These are great stamps for all sorts of other shapes, etc. So please don't just think that you've got to use them with circles. Lots of other ways for these. Please do subscribe to my channel below to see a quick card every Monday and a quick tip every Friday. Thanks for stopping by.